So if you watch Bear Wars so far, you've seen in the introduction video, the teaser, and also at the beginning of every episode, there's a short clip in there where somebody throws a log or big branch and hits a bear right in the side. So there's a little bit of backstory to that, and I thought I'd explain it here. My name's Clint and Garret. I'm a wildlife biologist by trade. I do habitat restoration, and I also do a lot of writing and the blog and some of the digital content at Muley. We thought for this Inside Bear Wars episode that we talk a little bit about it. A lot of people have commented and asked, and they've said that it's kind of a cool clip, and some people have actually even said that were we harassing bears, so we thought that we might give a little bit of background story on that. It happened on a elk hunt. I had another cousin who had a limited entry elk tag. We were up in the conifer in this wet meadow and pretty remote spot, and there were a couple cameras in this little meadow in the trees. We hiked up there, stopped at the camera, we grabbed the SD card out, and we walked into the trees, and I put the SD card in the camera and started checking the pictures that were on the camera. As soon as I started checking those pictures, I heard my cousin whisper to me, his name's Garrett, "Hey, there's a bear." And I looked up, and sure enough, 40 yards away, this bear had walked out right along our tracks into that same wet meadow. So I just turned the camera on, and as we started videoing it, this bear, he came out right to the spot where we'd stopped and got our camera, and you could tell that he was obviously following our tracks. And it's interesting because he's a bear that I think has been habituated to people baiting elk there. There was another camera there. We hadn't been putting anything down. We just put that camera and was watching what was going by, but there was another camera there, and they were putting down salt and sweet treats and all that kind of stuff that you put down for elk to get them to stop in front of your camera. Yeah, I think what that has happened is that bear had been habituated to someone coming up in that meadow, and then as soon as they walk out, that bear was used to walking out into that meadow and slurping up some of those sweet salty treats that were left for elk. And then he starts coming towards us. So I tell my cousin, "Hey, we better get out in the open. We better start waving our arms and let this bear know that we're here." Garrett, he goes out and he starts waving his arm, and then I stand up and we're waving our arms. Well, that bear looks up at us and then just basically ignores us, looks past us and keeps coming. So at this point, things are getting pretty interesting. This bear has, he doesn't care we're there. We're standing in the open, we're waving our arms, we're yelling, and this bear, he just has his nose to the ground, and he's kind of following our same path 40 yards away from us, and he keeps coming. And as this is happening, it's escalating. We're yelling louder, we're throwing stuff. At one point, my cousin says in that video, "I hope we don't have to shoot this bear," or something to that point. "I'm gonna have to shoot this bear." But we're bow hunting, all we have are bows, and that bear just keeps coming and coming and coming, and we're yelling, and he keeps coming. And my cousin at one point, a stick hits right behind that bear, and instead of the bear running away, the bear runs closer, and he goes and he stands up on this rock, and he's like 20 yards from us. My cousin picks up a great big stick, and it's a direct hit. He throws that stick and cracks that bear right in the rib cage. And the funny thing is, that bear didn't care all that much. He just, he kind of looked down, looked over at us, and was like, "What the hell are you doing? You just hit me with a stick." And after a few seconds, you see the bear run off out of the shot, but the bear didn't run off. He only ran 10 yards, and he went over there and he stood up, and I had to turn the camera off, and I got a big stick in my hand, and I ran at the bear with the stick, and we're talking, I was 10 yards from the bear yelling and throwing stuff at it, and unfortunately didn't get that on video, but things escalated pretty good. And the bear, he never ended up running away. All he did was go up on a log, and he kind of sat there, and I got some cool pictures of him from about 20 yards, just sitting there looking around, kind of sulking, it looked like he was doing, because he'd just been assaulted and he wanted to go out there and look for some elk bait. But one of the coolest bear experiences I've ever had, one of the closest encounters I've ever had with a bear. It wasn't scary, I never was scared, but I knew that we needed we needed to be aggressive and get him out of there too. The bear never really got real aggressive, but he also didn't have any fear of humans. So an interesting question that this raises and that comes to my mind is, you know, we got a lot of people out there that are baiting elk, that are putting, you know, salt licks out and different things that have a sweet, salty taste to them, so elk will stop in front of their cameras. But how many of these bears out there are also habituated to this practice that we hunters do of baiting elk and baiting our trail cameras? This bear to me was obviously habituated. We walked out of this meadow. This bear, you know, within 2 minutes had followed our track right into this meadow and was rooting around on the ground thinking that we had left a treat for him. And I mean, it even got to the point where we hadn't left anything out there, and I think he started coming towards us looking for that treat. I don't know, it just raises an interesting question about baiting big game and bears and bear safety. In Utah, it's legal to put stuff like that out for big game, so you know, there was nothing illegal about it for the guy who had been doing it next to our camera. And if you're wondering, my cousin did end up killing an elk on that hunt. That was a draw tag in Utah, and he killed a really nice bull. We had one shot pass through, and we recovered the bull the next morning. And yeah, that bear experience was worth a lifetime of bear experiences. So pretty neat. It was a good sized bear. It was a nice mature bear, and so things got a little interesting there for a while, but we had a good time. That bear clip demonstrates that bear safety doesn't just apply to grizzly bear country. You know, when we talk bear safety, a lot of people are only thinking about hunting in grizzly bear habitat, but having bear spray when you're in bear country and black bear country, not just grizzly country, might come in handy. We didn't have any. All we had was what was on us, our bows and arrows, and a whole bunch of sticks and logs. So yeah, had that escalated, some bear spray might have been a really useful tool. So watch here for the full clip of the entire bear encounter we had. Stay tuned and keep watching Bear Wars episode. Learn more about bears and bear hunting and enjoy some good old-fashioned bear hunts. You smell it. Just don't come at us. Just don't come at us. He's coming. Yeah, go announce yourself. Hey. Hey, get out. Shoo, bear.
Hey.
Shoo.
Hey.
Shoo.
Hey, go.
Shoo. Shoo.
See you. Yeah, say it, dude. I like that. Go.
Just shoot.
Go. Go. Go.